What's a harmless thing from your childhood that's actually kind of dark in hindsight? Whenever we had family dinners, my sibling and I, up until we were roughly age 13, were told to go sit under the dinner table while the adults ate. We were only allowed back out after my grandfather knocked on the table 3 times in a row. As a child, I would have to call the local bar, ask for my father, and then ask him to come home. I thought I was being a helpful kid and telling Daddy how I missed him, but in reality, I was used as a way to guilt my dad into coming home. We had a highway in our backyard, and whenever there was an accident, my father would get the flashlight and take me, and we'd go to investigate. One time there was a motorcycle accident and I saw the helmet. Then I saw the body. But it had no head. It was in the helmet. I was about 10 years old. Obviously at 63 I still never forget it. My mom had breast cancer when I was pretty young and I thought it was a normal life stage. Once I was drawing pictures of myself throughout my life and I drew myself in grade school, then in college, then when I got my first job, when I got married, had kids, had breast cancer, retired, had grandkids, etc. Like each of those things were normal milestones. I used to tear strips of paper off old paperback books we had lying around when I was super hungry and there was nothing to eat in the house. My mom constantly cleaning. Once I watched her give her friend a cup of coffee. She turned and wiped the counter, then took the coffee cup, emptied it, washed it, and put it away. The friend never even got to take a sip. She swept, mopped, and vacuumed daily. Even checked under beds for dust. Realized years later that it was a sign of my dad's abuse. He was awful. The moldy fridge, constant clutter, leaking roof, and decaying floor. It didn't faze me as a kid, but looking back, it was bad. Being left in a car for hours while my dad went and bought drugs. Nothing bad ever happened, but when I slip up and casually mention it to people, they treat me like I was kept in a cage. Instantly makes me remember that it isn't a thing to happen and was probably more dangerous than I perceived it to be. As a child, my mother would get angry at me for not grooming myself properly and not cleaning up around the house. Meanwhile, she never taught me how to do any personal grooming, cleaning, or chores. She just expected me to somehow magically figure it out on my own and would get angry if I didn't do something or did it wrong. Being 4, sent into a convenience store with a note to buy my mom's Lark cigarettes, then using the car lighter to start one. As in, putting the filter up to my lips, taking the lit lighter out, and inhaling a puff or two to get it started before handing it to her as she drove. She couldn't go inside because she had to stay in the car with my 2-year-old brother and was 8 months pregnant. Yes, 4 years old. Gen Xer. My dad used to call me Ish Andrea Irella, like Cinderella, but my real name for the first half. He thought it was the funniest joke because I wasn't actually his daughter. He had adopted me when I was 2 and he never loved me like his real daughters, so I was the, literally, red-headed stepchild no one wanted. He started calling me that after a big fight when I was 8, where he yelled at me that I wasn't even his, I was adopted. After that, he just thought was such a funny joke and he told it to everyone that came to our house and then explained the entire thing every time. It wasn't until years later that I realized none of the other adults laughed with him. I also think he completely missed the point of Cinderella. I had a baby raccoon called Cooney. He was my best friend. I got hurt a lot as a kid. I figured all kids were rough and tumble and got into fights. Turns out, I grew up in a very racist town. Other kids weren't afraid to go way over the top with weapons and violence, and the police didn't seem to be above hurting a child. Detached retina, bones scarring all through my face, torn cartilage in my ear, broken nose, all of my front teeth are chipped. Burn scars, skull fractures, many broken bones. I didn't realize other people didn't have that experience growing up. I guess I was in denial, but I figured these things just happen. At the age of 8, I was cooking pancakes and eggs, changing diapers, and babysitting the baby for hours a day. Nah, I was raising myself and my brother like my sister did for me. My mom was really big on always telling me the truth. And that sounds like a good harmless thing, but when there are no boundaries and heavy, difficult, painful, scary information is shared with a 4-year-old without age-appropriate modifications or protections, yikes. When I was 8 or 9, my older male cousins would send me into the convenience store with money to buy whatever they wanted because the guy at the counter would always give me free stuff if I was alone. Dude got arrested for being a child predator a few years into my teens. I'm lucky I never took him up on his offer of checking the back for more snacks with him. Being told, go ahead and call the cops. I'll beat your Kias before they get here, then they can gladly take me to jail. I used to live way out in the boonies as a kid. I'd be dead before they ever got there. Eat it. I am so sorry for all the traumatic childhood memories this is bringing up. Case in point though.